Hey there everyone, this is your RPG Revamped, and today I'm here with another one of my video game thoughts thing. I don't know if you're perfectly aware or not, or if I've established this enough so that you know, but basically every game that I beat, I will be discussing my thoughts. That's why I threw Dead or Alive Dimensions out there, even though I didn't have extensive thoughts on it. But this one I do have quite a bit of thoughts on, and that's Viewtiful Joe. Now, if you played this game, you will be able to relate. It is extremely difficult, and I'm naturally not even the best at games, so that put a double negative on me, the game being extremely difficult and me being not all that good at games to begin with. But basically, I did the kids mode. They have a kids and adult mode. This is really not kids mode. Like, seriously, it's kind of misleading, I guess, because it's really not a family-friendly game. I don't think Grandpa or little boy Jimmy would be able to pick this up and easily be able to play through a lot of this. But basically, it took me hours, painstaking hours, to beat this game, and I'm actually so glad to be done with it. Don't get me wrong, it was a good game. It was a good game. They have different. It's basically a beat 'em up, a cell shaded beat 'em up, and obviously it's on the GameCube. And you play as this movie star kind of hero thing. He's pretty much sucked into a movie and becomes a hero. And you get these pretty cool powers. You get these VFX powers, which you can slow. You can use slow, which will obviously slow down time, and it'll make your hits more powerful. Now, it won't make them more powerful, but it will give you a better chance to hit. And while you're holding slow, you can also automatically dodge attacks. And that is also used for a lot of the puzzles to drop certain floating platforms. They'll lower as you slow it. And there's also Mach speed, which is the exact opposite. It makes you really fast, and it allows you to tear through enemies a lot quicker, but there's a lot of enemies that will require slow or some different technique where you can't just burn through them that easily. Which is where the difficulty comes in, obviously. It would be really easy if you could just Mach speed through everything. Mach speed is also used for some puzzles to speed up things, and also to raise the platforms that I referenced earlier. So, that's very cool. They also have the zoom in thing, which I didn't really like as much. There's different, there's a spin kick you can do if you're zoomed in and use the kick attack, which is kind of cool, but that's used for some annoying puzzles. And yeah, it makes your attacks more powerful, but I really didn't like it a lot of times. But it actually made some of the bosses a lot easier. The thing that almost ruined the experience for me was I got stuck on this boss. I assumed he was the final boss. I think he was like King Inferno Leo or something like that. It had some arrangement of those kinds of names, but he was extremely difficult. He would run around and he would drop things, these meteors, and you would have to... I had to look this up on GameFAQs, and even then it was extremely difficult. This is something I never would have thought of. Let me know if you've beaten him before and it was easier to you or something, but to me I never would have thought to do this on my own. There was these meteors he would drop, or I think they're meteors, something like that. And basically, also at the same time, he shoots like these fireballs and flame wheels at you. So you have to use Mach speed to hit it enough times to set yourself on fire. Well, I knew that technique and that you could set yourself on fire by doing that, but I never thought to do that. And you're supposed to use that so that you can be invincible to the fireballs and just run through them. And then you run up to him, you punch him once, but then you run away, and then you let him run rampant, dodge the fireballs one little bit, and then you continue fighting. And I think I abandoned the GameFAQs strategy because I found one that worked better for me, because the GameFAQs strategy seemed a little more complex than I would have liked. And my strategy was basically he would do the spinning move, and if you just slow down time and punch him a little bit, you can get some decent damage racked up. But I wouldn't just do some punches and end there. I would use up the meter the most I could without pushing it, and then I would jump over him, lead him around a little bit until my meter charged up again, and then use slow again to keep doing it until he automatically jumped off, which he would do after a while. One thing I wish I knew, which was really applied in some of the stages afterwards, was if you use the zoom in VFX power, that actually makes your attacks a lot more powerful. I never really noticed this, or maybe I just didn't pay enough attention, but that's used as a big mechanic in the later levels. Like some of the more powerful enemies require that to break their shields and stuff. So if I had known that, I actually think it would be a lot easier. I'd really be interested to go back to that boss and see how much easier it is with the zoom in power. But at the same time, it sucks because you can't pick specific stages on this game. You'd have to play through the whole game again, because it doesn't even save like at the end. At the end, it starts you over back to stage 1 of the game. So that's unfortunate. I'll probably never get around to doing that, but I'd like to see how much easier it is. Let me know if you used that strategy and it worked a lot better or something. But yeah, basically, I think it would be a lot easier then. But that took up so much time. It took hours and hours. It was excruciating. I was venting on Twitter, and my brother was watching me as I got so close. There was a few times I got him to the last bar and wasn't able to kill him, and stupid things would happen, like the meteors would drop on my head as he was running by. That happened a lot, which is really annoying, but I pulled through, and there actually were more stages, which is where I found out about the whole zoom-in thing, and you had to implement that a lot. There were quite a bit more stages. There was one more episode, I think, throughout that. And there was the actual final boss, which was drastically easier. He would basically fill up the screen with so much, like, I think it was like electricity and stuff. He would fill it up with so much of that and some missiles and stuff. So it was kind of overwhelming, but really, especially since I knew the zoom in thing, that helped so much. Zoom in, it took out so much damage each hit that it really tore through the boss. I don't know if he would have been easier or harder that way, but like if I did it without the zoom in power, like it did with the other boss I was stuck on, I don't know if he would have been a lot harder in that respect. But yeah, it's interesting to think back on now. At the end of the day, it's a really cool game, but I'm really not tempted. I have the sequels. I have Viewtiful Joe 2 and Red Hot Rumble, which I think is just kind of like a fighting game that you play with your friends, but I'm not entirely sure on that, so correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't looked into that all that much, but at least I have Viewtiful Joe 2. I'm not entirely tempted to go into that because of how difficult this was and how stuck up on this, and I don't want to be held up on the sequel for too long either. I will go on to the sequel eventually, I think. But I just want to take a break from that, and for my next retro game, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think it's between Glover on the N64 and SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom on the Xbox. But we'll see. So, that's my thoughts. It's a really cool beat 'em up. It's got some really neat puzzles at sometimes they were frustrating and pretty complex at times. I can't imagine that young kids could be able to find this out. And it appears to be a very family-oriented or family-friendly game from the cover, like the whole movie style. It's really not like, it's not like, oh no, I don't think I'll be able to handle this kind of thing. But it's really not for kids, and I wouldn't recommend it if you're not up for a challenge, if you're up for an easygoing beat 'em up game, which I find is what a lot of beat 'em up games are. They're just kind of joyful, you know, you want to waste some time beating up baddies, but no, this game actually takes concentration, focus. The story's definitely not nothing to die for. It's basically relies on cliches in it, and you can tell that because it is all about like movies and stuff like that. like movie superhero films. So naturally they're going to pull out cliches for the sake of cliches, but yeah, so I basically skipped through the story for the most part, but I know the general idea. I would recommend it. I hate this case. It's got the GameStop sticker, but it's one of those annoying cases where it's inside the thing. It's inside this, inside that, and it's got this tear from this that should really get washed off at some point. Still got this used sticker. So this is one of my worst condition cases actually for the GameCube. But it's unfortunate. I don't think I have the manual either. Yeah, and the disc is in the Wii right now. So, guys, until next time, that's my thoughts on Viewtiful Joe. If you have this game, if you've beaten it, especially, let me know your thoughts on this. I'd really be interested to see if you were ever as frustrated as I was at any point, or if you were able to get it a lot easier than I did, which I wouldn't be surprised, but interested to see your thoughts. And if you played the sequel, if you would recommend I go on to it, if you thought it was better or worse than the original, then let me know. I have more videos on the way. I think I plan to record maybe 2 or 3 more right after I do this video, so stay tuned for that. They'll be up sometime. Obviously I'm not going to post them all at once, so you might see this video first, you might see this video last, so you won't even know what videos I'm talking about by this point, because I might be working on videos after the ones that are really the videos I'm talking about now, which were posted before this. So it's really confusing. Okay, I'll stop now. See you guys later.